Okay, I'm here to make this video of a valve job on an XR600. I'd like to start out by thanking all the guys and gals at Thumper Talk who've been giving me some great tips and advice on my rebuild. It's probably a basket case, not worth it, but we'll see about that. We'll see how it goes. We have a cylinder head here. Inside, there's the top end. We got the valves. We got the intake, the exhaust, and basically the tools we're going to use are a valve spring compressor, and it's got a couple grabbers on there that grab on the spring, and a depressor which just presses down on the top keeper. And let me see, we got some choke cleaner, some paper towels. This is a little tool which will be probably, I don't know, you got to make this one up yourself. A little piece of rubber hose on a wooden stick and hose clamp. Pretty important. It goes over the end of the valve, and you want to use a hose clamp because there's a lot of oil and stuff on the valves, and even if the hose fits pretty snugly, it's going to be, it'll slip off. So you get a hose clamp, it'll help you out a lot. And some lapping compound. They make them in, I have fine here, and also have a coarse if it's, you know, the exhaust valves typically are a little dirtier than the intake valve, so I used coarse on the exhaust. All these are done already, but I'm just going to go ahead and do another one for fun for my buddies at Thumper Talk, because you take what you can and give what you want, and that's how I roll. So, alright, here we go. We're going to take this, and we are going to find a exhaust valve, and we're going to put this so that it goes as far down on this spring as I can get it. And let's see, once you get it in place, you just hold the legs like that. You can probably see it better like that. And then you put this keeper right on the middle of this, like that. And then make sure those are nice and tight. Oh, and one more tool I forgot to mention that I know we got somewhere here is a magnet, screwdriver, and we'll be good to go. Alright, so we got the valve spring compressor in place, and we're just going to give this little couple cranks. Popped off there. Make sure it's centered, and you just turn this and it's going to squeeze the spring. Yeah, see, I didn't have it seated right. This actually didn't even happen to me on the first time I did it, so I'm glad it happened now, so you can see how hard this can be. So here we go. Tightening this sucker down. Valve spring is compressing. And there we go. It helps at this point. You got the valve spring compressed. Take some paper towels or a rag. And right here you can see it's a little loose. So what we're going to do is put this right underneath the head on the valve to kind of hold it in place. And if it's the first time this spring has come off in a while, you're going to want to give it a tap. So we're going to get my tap tool, which is just, you know, small hammer or anything. You don't have to beat on it too hard. You just compress the spring, give it a little tap, which frees up the little keepers, and then you go in after them with your magnet. Pull them out. There's one, and there's the other one. Valve spring. There's one inside the other. Just keep them together. Keep them compressed. No bubbles, no troubles. And if you want to see the valve spring keepers, just keep them on the magnet, and you'll be able to find them in a minute when you go to put them back in. At this point, the valve is free to come out, And what you're going to want to do is take something, and there's probably going to be a bit of carbon on the back. You scrape it off, do what you got to do to get it clean. It's okay to use a wire brush on these things if you want, and usually does a pretty good job. You know, the carbon's pretty stubborn, but just use a scraper or whatever. These valves are pretty hard and they're not going to get damaged easy. Do not use a drill wire brush on the piston head, because the metal is much softer and you will ruin that. But these are pretty good. So what we do here is we take a little bit of lapping compound on your finger like this. Sparingly, just put it around the edge of the valve seat like so. I don't know if you can see that, but just a little bit around the edge. And be careful of this stuff because it is very gritty. It's designed to remove metal. So, do not get any on the valve stem, because that will erode your valve guides. Right? So we're going to put it back in the hole where it came from. And then use our rags underneath it. And we install the hose. Make sure that's nice and snug on there. And a lot of people just use this kind of motion with their hands. And, you know, that's all nice and everything, but sometimes the seats are pretty well used, shall we say. So I find electric drill works pretty good. Just put your electric drill in here, spin it for a good minute or two, and that'll make a nice grind, nice valve seat lapping job if you like. So pull this back off. Pull this back out. Now at this point, you have lapping compound all in this valve seat and all in the seat of this valve, and the most important part of this job is probably going to be, you know, inspect the work that you've done so far and clean it up thoroughly.